What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another page of the playbook. This is Nate coming at you guys with a first round, the perfect first round for your fantasy football drafts that are coming up. It is great to be back. It's been about a month since I wrapped up my NFL offseason series, so I've taken a little bit of time off. Now I'm ready to dive in as this NFL season's 2 months away from kicking off officially with preseason coming up, training camps coming up. It is time. No better time now than to start figuring out where you're going to go in your fantasy draft. And if you're in a 10-team PPR league like I am, I've got the perfect first round for you, in my opinion, on what I think these players are going to do this year. Let's jump right into it. Also, quick side note, if you guys are going to take advice from anybody, you should probably take advice from the guy that is in 2 fantasy leagues, won them both last year. Just saying, won both of them last year. I've done my last 3 fantasy seasons have ended in championships, people. I know what I'm doing, okay? So, let's dive into this. Pick 1-1. Not a ton of shock and awe here, right? Not going to be a ton of surprise. It's got to be Christian McCaffrey, running back, San Francisco 49ers. Over 2,000 all-purpose yards last year, 21 total touchdowns. He has been unbelievable since he joined the 49ers. Just unbelievable. I see no reason for that to slow down this year. He was an absolute workhorse last year. I want to give a quick shout out to all of the fantasy league members in my league for letting me draft him at pick number 6. God bless you all for letting me get him because he did the damn thing for me. Cannot thank you all enough. I know he fell down some boards last year because of the injury concerns that he's had in the past. He played a complete season last year, and I want to say the season before too. So he's had back-to-back complete seasons where he hasn't missed a single game, and he is just way too talented to be passed on at 1-1, especially in the same offense with the same players. Like, he's going to go off again, you guys. He's going to go off again. So Christian McCaffrey's got to be 1-1. If you're not taking him at pick 1 because you're afraid of injuries, you're playing scared. Scared money don't make money, folks. You got to go McCaffrey at pick 1. Pick number 2, you've got probably your first debate here. It's really between 2 guys. It's between my boy Tyreek Hill from Miami and one of my other boys, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver Dallas, who I had last year as well. Can you guys believe that? I had Christian McCaffrey and CeeDee Lamb in my redraft league. Oh, man, of course I won the championship. But for the second pick in the first round of this draft, I've got to give CeeDee Lamb the nod here, honestly. He's younger, and he just gets more volume than Tyreek Hill. Hill has to compete with Jalen Waddle for catches. Lamb doesn't really have much in the way of competition at the wide receiver room. It's CeeDee Lamb. He was absolutely the man for them, and he was last year, and he went nuclear last year. 135 catches, more than 1,700 plus yards, and 12 receiving touchdowns. I look for him to put up similar, if not even better numbers this year. He's an absolute monster, a true number 1 alpha receiver. He's more than entered the chat for top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. I'm a huge fan of CeeDee Lamb. I think him and Dak Prescott another season, they're just going to put up crazy numbers again. It's what they do. So I think CeeDee Lamb's got to go at pick number 2. Which leads me to pick number 3. It's got to be Tyreek Hill from the Miami Dolphins. The Cheetah goes right around where he should have gone last year in the top 3. I know some places I saw he was like 1-6, and he put up the most yards and most touchdowns for a receiver in the NFL last year. So pretty good year, I would say. He was on pace for 2,000 yards before he got a little banged up and had to miss some games. Either way, he's still the most dangerous man on the planet with the football in his hand. He just makes one move and he's gone. One move and he's gone. And he's clearly Tua's favorite receiver. He's going to get the volume. He's getting plenty of volume. Had what, 119 catches last year? Crazy numbers. He's going to get the looks. He's going to get the grabs. Tyreek Hill's still the man until proven otherwise, folks. Pick 4. Maybe controversial. Maybe. I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Let me know down below if you guys would have these next 2 players switched or not. But at pick number 4, I think you got to go with Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver Cincinnati. I think you have to go with him. I feel like last year was kind of a quiet year for Chase, right? There was no Joe Burrow for 7 of the 17 games. He missed nearly half of the season. And even without Joe Burrow, even with someone like Jake Browning throwing him the ball, Jake Browning is no Joe Burrow, folks. He's no Joe Burrow. With Jake Browning throwing him the ball for 7 of those 17 games, he still went over 1,200 yards, still had 100 catches, and put up 7 touchdowns. You're telling me he's not going to do better with a healthy Joe Burrow? No shot. They're both young, and I like Ja'Marr Chase over my next guy because of the quarterback situation with Joe Burrow versus whoever the other team has. So I like Ja'Marr Chase at pick 4. I think he's a pretty safe pick. Honestly, I think he's going to have a great season for the Bengals. And pick 5, continuing the wide receiver run, I'm going with Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, Minnesota Vikings. Vikings fans, I still think Justin Jefferson is the most talented wide receiver in the NFL. I just want to get that out there immediately. I still think he is wide receiver 1 in terms of talent. But I don't care how talented you are when your quarterbacks are Sam Darnold and or J.J. McCarthy. You could be the most talented receiver in the world. If your quarterback does not get you the ball, it simply does not matter. So that I like the other guys before him. I still like Justin Jefferson at pick 5 because he's going to get his. He's still going to break 1,000 yards, probably have close to 100 catches, probably have 6 to 8 touchdowns. I think he'll have a similar year to what Ja'Marr Chase put up last year. I don't foresee him leading the NFL in yards or touchdowns or catches or anything like that because I don't think that the Vikings quarterbacks can do it. I'm not a believer in Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy. So I would take Justin Jefferson. If I had pick 5 and Jefferson was sitting there, I would take him. I would take the chance and take the high floor that he has. But I just don't see him above any of the guys in front of me. Maybe even not in front of the guy that I have going next at pick 6. Pick 6, I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver out of Detroit. They just absolutely paid him one of the highest, if not the highest, AAV, outside of Justin Jefferson, who is the highest AAV. But Amon-Ra is now second, absolutely paid by Detroit because he is the man. He is the man. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is such a stud. 164 targets last year, 119 catches, 1,515 yards, and 10 touchdowns. I mean, this guy's a bona fide superstar. Let's just call it what it is. One of the best 6, 7 wide receivers in the entire NFL. Got paid like it. Absolute monster. Super reliable. He's Jared Goff's favorite weapon, and he's going to get the volume too. Like, he is going to absolutely get the volume from Jared Goff. Jameson Williams hasn't really shown much. Who else is catching passes in Detroit? Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, sure, but Amon-Ra is the go-to guy in that offense. Sam Laporta may eat into it a little bit. I still trust him to get well over 100 catches, push for double-digit touchdowns, and finish anywhere from 1,300 to 1,500 yards. I really like Amon-Ra St. Brown going into this year. I think Detroit's offense is going to absolutely hum this year, but maybe more on that later. Who knows? Pick 7. I don't like this. Okay, I want to get that out there. Obviously, look, I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm objective, though, and this isn't about my team versus your team. This is about fantasy. Pick 7, I've got it, Breece Hall, running back for the Jets. He's going as RB2 in almost every league. Consensus, RB2 behind Christian McCaffrey. That seems crazy to me. I don't know. I think it's McCaffrey and then everybody else. So it just doesn't really matter after that, in my opinion. I don't know if I would go with pick 7 with him or if I take one of the stud receivers available. But he's obviously explosive, very explosive. I don't think he's going to finish as RB2 this year. I don't. But can he start the season out really hot while the Jets are healthy before Tyron Smith gets his yearly injury, before we know what's going on with the rest of their offensive line with Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. They may lean on him early. So I like that because leaning on him behind what their offensive line is day one has a chance to be excellent. He averaged over 5 yards a carry last year coming back from an ACL injury. He's another year removed from his injury. Super explosive runner. We'll see how he looks with the Jets and if their offensive line can stay on the field and produce for him. If not, you may miss on this one, but he's going as RB2. I do think he has RB2 upside. I don't see it happening. I've got other guys that I'll talk about soon who I think may finish as RB2, but I think Breece Hall will end the season probably as a top 5 RB, over 1,000 yards, probably pushing for 10, 11 touchdowns as well, so he's going to get the volume over there. He's got a couple of decent backups in Israel Abanikanda and Braylon Allen, but I still think he's obviously the guy, still young, so we're going to go Breece Hall at pick 7. Pick number 8, we're going with the second-year receiver out of LA, going with Puka Nacua. 105 catches last year, 1,486 yards, and 6 touchdowns as a rookie. And half the season he was splitting time with Cooper Kupp. Kupp played for a good chunk of the season, and he outproduced him. They played together 12 games, where it was Kupp and Nacua, and everyone's like, oh, well, when Kupp comes back, Nakua's gone. Nacua put up 62 for 944 and 4 touchdowns in the 12 games they played together. That's fantastic. That is fantastic, and it's only going to go up. Last year was a floor. He's only going to improve. He's only going to grow in his rapport with Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp's another year older. He's got a history of injuries. Puka's the guy. Puka is the guy in LA. I think he's going to continue to be an absolute stud. Am I drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit with Puka Nacua? I might be. Maybe you get him early second round if you're lucky because you take a big name player before him. Someone else goes in front of him, like an A.J. Brown. I think Puka Nacua outproduces A.J. Brown this season. He probably did last year. I don't have the stats in front of me. Pretty sure he did last year. Big fan of Puka Nacua. And I'm a big fan of his teammate who at pick number 9, this is my first real controversial one, I feel like. I'm taking Kyren Williams at pick number 9 over several players. I'm taking him over Bijan Robinson. I'm taking him over A.J. Brown. I'm taking him over like Travis Etienne. I'm taking him over a bunch of other guys because of the numbers he put up last year and what the Rams did this offseason. They spent a ton of money retooling that offensive line. Last year behind a very subpar offensive line. He put up unbelievable numbers. 15 total touchdowns last year for Kyren Williams. I don't see any reason why he can't do it again. I don't see any reason why he can't at all. I really think that he's going to shine this year in the Rams offense. Second year with them, and the offensive line is so much better. I think he could be RB2 by the time the season's done because he's a dual threat. He catches plenty of passes out of the backfield. He can do it all. I know that they drafted Blake Corum, and Blake Corum is kind of a similar player to him, but this is Kyren Williams' job, and he's going to shine this season. I think Rams might be an explosive offense this year. Look out for the LA Rams on offense, folks. In pick 10, this is one where you could go really three ways. I'm going with Saquon Barkley at pick 10, Philadelphia Eagles running back. It might burn me because, yes, Jalen Hurts will steal 7 or 8 goal line touchdowns himself. That could go to Saquon and push him into RB 1 to 2 range and make him one of the best running backs this year. But even so, I think, again, similar to the Kyren Williams thing, I think that he can thrive behind this offensive line. This is without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, the best offensive line he has ever played behind. The Giants never put together a decent front in front of him, and his numbers took a hit. His efficiency wasn't great. His yards per carry, not great. Hard to be great when you're getting hit in the backfield every single play. I think he's coming out a little bit pissed. I think he's going to have a big revenge-type season, especially with Jalen Hurts running the option, catching passes out of the backfield. I really like Saquon Barkley to go off this year, and I take him at pick 10 over my 2 honorable mentions at running back. I mentioned them both, but I'm starting Travis Etienne. I think the Jags are going to be a little bit better this year running the ball, and Etienne really does show a good pass-catching ability last year when he had 58 receptions. Another year in the offense, another year for the offensive line to continue to gel together. I really like him as a late 1, early 2 pick, and he's obviously got the connection with Trevor Lawrence, they're boys, so I really like him going forward. I just like Saquon a little bit more. Same thing with Bijan Robinson, Atlanta Falcons. I will not get fooled again. Last year I had him firmly in my first round of mock drafts. I'm like, oh yeah, give me some Bijan, baby. And he wasn't used right, and it didn't go well, and now I'm gun shy. So I'm scared to take him. I won't get fooled. You got to prove it to me. I need to see him be the man before I'm interested in using a first round pick on him. I considered it last year at times. If I didn't have who I wanted fall to me at pick 6 into my draft, I would have really considered Bijan Robinson at pick 6. And I would have been very bad. Would have been very, very bad. He was consensus like 1-8. So that's not a huge reach last year. This year, I'm not taking him in the first round, but I would take him early round 2. You know, like on a wraparound, if you want 2 running backs at pick 9, you go Kyren Williams. Pick 12, you go Bijan Robinson, or reverse those 2, however you're feeling. I do think that the wide receivers should go early. Like I said, I've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers in a row. 6 of them was my top 10. So who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be an awesome year, guys. But that's the perfect first round in my mind. Let me know who I forgot, who I didn't place. I didn't mention a ton of studs. I didn't mention A.J. Brown. I didn't mention Garrett Wilson, who I know Jets fans, you're going to be pissed. If you took him in the first round last year, how'd you feel about that? We're going to trust 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers off his Achilles with our first-round wide receiver? I don't think so. No thanks. So that's all I've got for you guys. We'll probably be back with more fantasy information as the season comes closer and closer, more mock drafts, stuff like that. And then we've obviously got the big shows coming up too, where we're going to do deep dives on all 32 of the NFL teams going into the season, giving you a breakdown of both their roster and their schedule and tell you exactly how we think they're going to do and exactly what we think their record's going to be and who they're going to beat and who they're going to lose to. You guys are not going to want to miss the videos. We're kicking it up in the high gear. We've had a month off. It's back to the grind. We'll see you guys in the next one.